Now, Ousmane Sonko have now decided to go back to court to process his case again. The France military base needs to be removed from there. France interference must go down. This is a game changer for the people of Senegal. It's becoming difficult. Now, there is another breaking amazing news. Greetings, lovely people. You are welcome back to the channel. It's always amazing when you come on board. If you are enjoying our update, kindly consider subscribing and liking the video. That's the best support you can give us to push the narrative of Africa out there. We are in Senegal today. We are in Senegal. Some amazing two things happen in Senegal, which I can tell you that it should be the hope of Africans that Senegal is also on the path of the Sahel as we are speaking. Of course, it is not through coup d'etat, but in a democratic process, I can tell you, Senegal is on the path of revolution. It is happening. Okay, Faye and Ousmane Sonko, the president, Faye and Ousmane Sonko, these two people, they are not puppets in opposition. They were revolutionaries in opposition. What brought them to power was the message of revolution and liberation, total liberation and freedom of their nation that they were preaching, that instigate the youth to bring them to office. Of course, they faced difficulties, but they have been able to overcome those difficulties. Now, two things happened there. When Faye came on board, we are all expecting that Senegal will begin to process things just like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger because of the backup, which is Ousmane Sonko. This guy in opposition, we all know the message he was preaching, the message of freedom, liberation of their nation. Okay, those were the things that brought him or instigate the youth to bring him to office. You understand? So Faye came on board, and we are seeing totally the opposite. And people are like, oh, what is happening? Right now, as we are speaking, France and Senegal recently signed agreements to work more closely on important issues like education, helping young people, growing their economy, supporting agriculture, and improving security. This guy were in opposition. This was not the things we were preaching. Even in power, Ousmane Sonko have been saying is preaching against the France military base. But there is a problem. There was a blockade, and the blockade is being removed. I'm telling you. The blockade was the parliament. Everything that Faye wants to do, or the business and the agenda of Faye, which is the new independent government, they have to be processed through the parliament. It is not like military leadership where you give order like Burkina Faso and then it is followed. No, you have to bring it out. It pass through the parliament. So it is the parliament that will allow it to go. If the parliament suppress it, it will not go. That was what was happening. The Senegal government is focusing on reducing its reliance on foreign help. As we are speaking, the new government, Faye and Sonko, okay, they have introduced 25 years plan to boost local industry, create jobs, and better use of their resources like gas and oil. These things are part of President Bassirou Diomaye Faye's goal to make pushes for more control over its own development, reducing reliance on foreign influence. But all these things were put before the parliament, and the parliament were not ready for the conversation. The parliament was working against the guy. France was using the parliament to work against the guy because the parliament is not having majority in the parliament. So it's becoming difficult. So what he did was that in September, we all know the story, he dissolved the parliament and scheduled parliamentary election. When he was asked by the press, why did he do that? He said, working with the assembly was difficult after the opposition refused to pass bills from the executive. He said some of the bills are talking about how to improve the life of the young people and industrialize themselves and rely on their own without relying on the Western influence. They are not ready for that conversation. They want them to be borrowing money. You see, from the borrowing of the money, that is where these people get money. So they want that trend to continue, and the guy said no, he's not going to agree. So after demolishing the parliament, an election is called. Now what is happening is that we have good news, guys. Amazing news. On the parliamentary election, which happened on November 17, Senegal President Party win 130 out of 165 legislative seats. Now he is having the majority in the parliament. So his business can be smoothly, without any blockade, be transacted. So everything that they were preaching in opposition can now pass through parliament smoothly. So we are going to begin to see actions, freedom actions from Senegal. Now there is another breaking amazing news. And you know, I've been telling my people, especially my community on TikTok, that Lord, let's have patience for these guys. These guys are facing difficulties. Let's have patience for them. People are like, oh, they have become puppet. And I said, no, let's have patience for them. There is something blocking the guy. From the guy action, I can see that the guy is struggling to do things. Now the blockade is out, guys. Now we are waiting to see how they are going to process the things they were saying in opposition to come to play. The France military base needs to be famous from there. France interference must go down. All these things they were preaching, which is happening in Burkina Faso, must happen there. Now the good news we have is that Sonko, which is the prime minister who was arrested, he was struck off Senegal's electoral roll in late July when he was arrested on other charges, including fomenting insurrections, criminally associating with a terrorist body, and endangering state security. These are the charges laid against him. So they struck him off the electoral roll. He cannot contest for president. Now Ousmane Sonko have now decided to go back to court to process his case again. Now the court has ruled in his favor, and the judge has ordered that Ousmane Sonko should be reinstated on the electoral roll, clearing the way for him to stand in next year's presidential election. We have a good news, and this happened on Tuesday. And one of the lawyers says that the state could lodge an appeal with the Supreme Court, but that will not stop Tuesday's decision being implemented immediately. So Sonko now has until December 26th to present his candidacy for the upcoming election. And I believe this is a game changer for the people of Senegal. And now that he's having the majority, I think things are going to work smoothly. And Sonko also is now back and will be contesting in the next election, which means that probability for him to come on board is very high. So I am seeing this as a good news and a good starting point of freedom, economic freedom. I don't know about you, but guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Respect.